So, hello and welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back on a Wednesday. We're presenting more stuff that is upcoming at the Data Lift Summit in Berlin. So, this is the prequel that introduces you to the speakers and topics. My name is Chris Armbruster. I'm the Director Data Career at the AI Guild. And with me today, I have Eleftheria Petrianou. She's a big data engineer at UBITECH, and her colleague, Kostas Mylonas, who is a software engineer at the same company, UBITECH. And UBITECH is located in Athens, Greece. Eleftheria, hello and welcome.
Welcome, thank you. How are you?
Kostas, hello and welcome.
Hello, thank you.
So, as usual, I would actually like to start by asking you about how you got interested in data and machine learning. So, how did you get where you are today? And Eleftheria, perhaps you would like to start.
Okay, thank you. Well, everything started at university. I suppose for most of the people, this happens very usually. I graduated from electrical and computer engineering faculty from University of Thessaly in Greece. And at some point, there were some new topics in our curriculum regarding data science and data analytics. So I started from there. And after some time, I realized that I would like to work on this as a job for me. And I think that it was a good choice because it has a lot of aspects, and there are a lot of sectors that you can work on with data science. So.
Okay, Eleftheria, thank you for the first round. Kostas, over to you. What got you interested in data and machine learning?
So yeah, first of all, the same as Eleftheria. I started at the university. I studied electrical and computer engineering first year in Greece. But I liked a lot maths, optimization, and stuff like that. So I took some course about pattern recognition and machine learning. And yeah, I was really fascinated about how, in general, a machine can learn some stuff and it's able to take part in decision making. So yeah, I took my diploma thesis in this topic of machine learning. Then I moved to my master's, and I also there I applied machine learning and reinforcement learning. I did an internship also where I used reinforcement learning. I find this topic quite fascinating, and that it has some really some long-term impact in our society, maybe. So yeah, it's a combination of a personal interest in the maths that are behind machine learning and in the use cases that machine learning can be used in practice.
Thank you, Costa. So my understanding is that from what you said, that it was a big part of your university studies, and that actually in doing your master's program, you specifically focused on this, also using newer technologies like reinforcement learning. Eleftheria, so you also mentioned that it came up during your university time. Did you study it at university, or were there other things that you did?
Well, actually, yes, I studied part of it. Of course, there are a lot of aspects that you can read and study on data science and machine learning. But I was also interested in the energy sector that it was also included in our curriculum in the university. So when it came for me as an opportunity to choose my diploma thesis, I said, okay, I can probably combine these two sectors. And I had guidance from some of my professors. And then I decided to apply some of the basic machine learning algorithms in a data set regarding energy consumption in the residential sector. And it was really interesting. So I immediately started to get interested more in this. So when I was searching for a job, because I wanted to see it in action, it's nice when you are researching or doing a project in a university, but when you see some results in action, it's more interesting. So this is why I opted for a position that I could apply all these methods and learn a lot of it in the process. Yes.
Yes, interesting. So you're saying learning by doing here, also very
Yeah.
much excellent. Kostas, over to you. So that you completed your university degree, I think was like 2-3 years ago, if I'm right. So how's it been going for you? What are you doing in your current role? It says here software engineer. What do you do, and what is UBITECH?
Yeah. First of all, we have energy-related projects, which has to do with data-driven energy services, smart grid analytics. So in my part of the job, I'm using I'm developing some applications, like some optimization applications, some clustering applications, or anomaly detection. And first of all, I developed the algorithms, and then we deployed it as web applications, and we have a dashboard that we are communicating with, and we see our results in some dashboards. So, yeah, I have an end-to-end role.
Okay, what does end-to-end mean?
From getting the data, processing the data, developing some models, and to showing the results in a web page, let's say. Yeah.
Okay, understood. Eleftheria, so you're also at UBITECH. Maybe you can say a bit more about that. So what type of company is UBITECH, and who's your customer?
Well, UBITECH actually is a software and technology provider service provider, I'm sorry. And they have a lot of expertise in technology regarding security, integration of technology, also IT consultancy. And the applications of all of these are of a lot of part of UBITECH's work is applied in European research projects. But of course, there are a lot of product-based projects. But me and Kostas are working in energy and in energy systems and then digitalization team, where we focus only on energy-related European projects. But of course, there are a lot of teams that are working on security, aviation, healthcare. Yes. So.
Understood. So just sticking with the energy for a moment. So you said that, European research projects, that probably also means European research consortia. And then I'm curious, and I guess the audience would also like to know, so who are you working with, right? Are you working on innovative projects that define the future of energy supply? Are you working on renewable energies? Are you mainly working with companies that produce energy, so to speak, or with companies that transmit energy? I mean, so where in that space are you located? Can you say a bit more?
Yes, of course. Hopefully, we are working with a lot of different projects. Some of them are targeting the building occupants and their well-being, and how, of course, they can save some money regarding their energy consumption.
Okay.
Most of the projects, of course, they also target, let's say, upper levels of the energy sector, like aggregators or transmission TSOs, the transmission service operators. And each project is most of the time combining a lot of these stakeholders. And of course, all of them now have to do with renewable energy and how we can use it so that we can increase the energy that we self-consume, so that we can, of course, save money, but also that we can relax, let's say, a little bit the congestion in the energy system.
Understood. Continuing perhaps with you, Kostas. So my understanding at the moment is that this is actually really about the end customer, the consumer of energy, so to speak, all of us that use energy in various forms. I guess mainly electricity. You said you participate in this end to end. So what type of data are you able to look at?
Different kinds of data from like a building electricity consumption or photovoltaic energy generation. Let's say that we are using some electricity prices in other projects in order to get some insights from that. Many different kind of data sets that are related to the energy sectors and helps us develop our applications.
Okay, thank you. Eleftheria, anything to add to that?
Well, it's true that there could be a lot of data sources, weather data, energy data regarding generation and consumption, ambient sensor data. But in some cases, we have a lack of data. So, of course, we have to produce our own data sets and try our algorithms to see if they work. Yes, I think this is the main problem in many aspects of research, but yeah.
Okay. So you're actually looking, so to speak, at data quantity and also data quality, and trying to work out whether it allows you to do things. If you take a step back, so you're working for a consultancy firm, you're working on research projects. It's mainly the energy sector that you're working on. What, to your mind, Eleftheria, is so? What is the what would be what gets you excited about it? What's the most interesting part of it for you?
Well, that's a really nice question. Okay, before the whole situation with the energy market that now occurs, I think that because energy is a really important part of our lives, and of course, I think that we can't live without gas, petroleum, electricity, or any other source of energy. To find ways of being more efficient on how we use our energy, I think is the most exciting thing, that we can use machine learning, data science, or even the most simple data analytics and statistics to see how we can be better users of energy.
Okay, so this is really about reducing consumption, and that we consume, that it kind of has more impact. If I got it correctly, yes. Okay, Kostas, and for you, what's most exciting about it for you?
Yeah, it's important, this societal part of doing research in energy. Like, we want to reduce our consumption, to invest more in renewables and stuff like that. But also, an important part is that the energy sector right now it's behind in digitalization. I mean, we consume in our houses, and we don't know how much do we pay, how much do we consume. So, I mean, we don't have the part of digitalization, like smart meters in our home, to make consumers more to be more engaged in their electricity consumption.
Okay.
So it's energy sector, although it's a big sector, it's not so improved, so well developed in that part. That's why European Union pays some money for this reason, in order to develop some solutions that help us digitalize our many aspects of energy domain.
Understood. So just staying with the point for a minute, this is kind of quite exciting to me, or I can relate to it in a particular kind of way. So obviously, I also consume energy, and I get a utility bill every year. And one of the things that I've noticed on the utility bill is that they, of course, tell me my overall consumption, and then they benchmark my consumption against, so to speak, an average consumption for a 2-person, 3-person, 4-person household. And I can see on the whole that how I'm doing. And it was always nice for me that I was way below average in my energy consumption. But it kind of like I see this once a year. That's the maximum that I that seems possible today. And by the way, it comes on paper. Compare this, for example, to another situation I have as a consumer, and that is with finance, so with banking or with running your own depot for where you buy stocks on the stock market or something like this. And I mean, one of the interesting things these days is if you think about your phone and your apps, that I get a notification every time I'm spending or every time somebody's taking money out of my account because I bought something. I can also log into my depot and see at any time, the performance, where it's going, the changes over the day, and so on and so on. But actually, I can see nothing comparable for energy at the moment. And am I right in thinking that where you're moving to and what you're trying to build is to give us some sort of control over this by being able to show to us what our consumption is and perhaps also how to change it in the very moment?
Who's going to speak?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Well,
that's the high level goal. So each house, each consumer that has a mobile phone, to be able to check his consumption or to get some notifications that maybe delay a bit your thermostat or delay a bit your dishwasher in a later hour. So it's better for the electricity system as a whole, or for you to pay less. So we're trying to develop some applications that send some notifications to the building occupants and say that it might be a good idea now to use your battery in order to save the excess from photovoltaic that you may have, and to use this energy later, that the price of electricity will be higher, for example. So that's the high level goal, that each one that has a mobile phone to be able to get, first of all, some insights about his electricity consumption, and as a second step, to get some notifications to change a bit his behavioral patterns regarding electricity.
Okay, thank you for that, Kostas. So I would like to move on, so to speak, and incorporate what we've done now. So actually, you're coming to Berlin from Greece in June to speak at the DataLift Summit. You'll be presenting use cases in production. You're here together today. You're in the same company, but actually, you will be presenting two different use cases. So Eleftheria will be talking about taking the analytics of energy flexibility in production, and Kostas will be talking about monitoring network traffic in a flexibility trading platform. So actually, Eleftheria, starting with you, I think the first thing we need to do is explain to the audience what the title means. So there's something here about energy flexibility. There's also something here about energy production. And then there's something about analytics. So what's going on here?
Yeah, you're right. Well, I think that part of the topic was explained from Kostas a little bit earlier now. As he said, of course, there are ways that we can change the consumption pattern of a user, just to say that it is profitable both either for the consumer or also for an aggregator or a system operator. And this is what we say as flexibility. And this is what Kostas is working mainly on, how to optimize this part and offer an insight to the user that when part of his or her consumption is moved to another time slot, it's going to be some profit probably for him. If not, if there's not a profit for him, is for the system operator that has already bought some part of energy and would like to move it to another time slot, which he knows it's going to be less congestion or more. it depends on the needs of the system. So, of course, the benefits are not targeted always to the user, but also to other stakeholders. So this is flexibility, that the user is flexible to move a part of his consumption to other time slots in a day. But the main role here is played from the dashboard part, that there is a whole visualization platform where system operator or an aggregator can make a request just from the click of a button and say that, okay, I need some part of the energy here or here or here this time of the day. And behind all this, there is a whole ecosystem of microservices. And this is the production part. So this is the interesting part, how after a click of a button, everything underneath is working on producing some results and give them back to the dashboard for the user.
Understood. And the user might be an end consumer, but the user might actually also be an operator or somebody else that is kind of producing or consuming energy in a way.
Exactly.
And as a consumer, now speaking as a consumer, I kind of imagine a scenario in the next, I don't know, actually 5 to 10 years probably already, where, for example, I have a home and there is some sort of solar power on the roof, perhaps. So I have solar energy. Perhaps my home has a battery somewhere, so a storage facility actually. Possibly there is even some sort of pumping system that generates energy as well, so that I don't have to use gas or oil, or at least not a lot of it. Or maybe close to zero, and then I can, and I have an electric car, right? That also needs charging, and I can start understanding when I want to consume energy, so to speak, and fill my storage or fill up the car, so to speak, or when I'm producing, so to speak, from my solar panel something. I could from the solar panel feed it into the system, or I could perhaps also feed it into my storage. So I'm imagining some sort of control button or some sort of app that means that I can look at this and understand, and the app probably actually tells me this is the best solution, so here's the cheapest, or here you actually get some money for the energy you produce, or these kind of scenarios. Right?
Exactly. This is very well explained. Thank you for this.
Okay, thank you. Then got it. Then Kostas, moving over to you, I'm also going to show people the title. So it says here, monitoring network traffic and a flexibility trading platform. So actually, energy is being traded on platforms. This much I know. So I guess the audience can perhaps also relate to that. Flexibility platform. So the term flexibility turns up again. That needs explanation, I'm sure. And also, what actually means monitoring network traffic? What kind of network and what kind of flexibility are we talking about?
Yeah, that's a different project. It's called OneNet, and it's in a more high level. So each country has a transmission system operator, which runs, let's say, the electricity market. And the vision of right now, each country has its own, let's say, transmission system operator, where the transmission system operator has its own platform and has the supervision of its country. So the vision of this project is that in a European level, all of the transmission system operators will have one platform that they are going to use it to run the market. So an example for this is what we mean by flexibility trading. Let's say that it's summer in Greece and we have high solar, which means that we have a lot of production from photovoltaics. And let's say that this day we have not so much consumption. So we have some energy somewhere and we need to use it. What can we do is to communicate with our neighboring countries, the TSOs of the neighboring countries, and do a cross-border exchange of energy. So this transaction has to be somewhere in a platform. And what OneNet visions is that all the TSOs to communicate and exchange the data through this platform. So this means that very sensitive data will flow through this platform, and we need to be sure that this network of platforms is robust. So maybe someone might need to go inside this platform, which is not authorized to be in, and steal some data, or it might do some denial of service, for example, some cyber attacks, let's say. So first of all, we need to monitor the traffic, which means that to see the requests of other users and check if there are a lot of requests or fewer requests, and how much this goes through time. And second, to develop some anomaly detection tools and to be able to spot different anomalies. Let's say if we have a user that his IP is outside Europe, it might be a bad sign that is trying to do some intrusion into the network, something like that. So we take this. Each server has some logs, let's say, that has some footprints of the different users that came in. We get this data. We develop an anomaly detection, like an unsupervised machine learning model, and we are able to distinguish between normal behavior and anomalous behavior.
Understood. Okay. Eleftheria, going back to you for a final round for today. So you're going to be presenting this use case in production. Use case in production means that something that we're looking at is actually working. It has a meaningful application here. So if I were to come to your presentation, what would I expect?
Well, at first, to understand fully the cause of this application, and what we want to achieve, and of course, what are some possible, let's say, software and machine learning tools that you can use in order to exploit the data you have, and how all these can communicate with each other. Because as I mentioned before, we are talking of an ecosystem of microservices that each one is doing something different in order to fully form the solution of the problem. So for me, this is the important part, to see one of the possible solutions in this, and probably after the presentation that we have some discussion and see what other possible applications of this could be, and other solutions to this problem. I think this is going to be really nice for me, because it's the first time I'm doing something like this, so I want it to be understandable, and of course to be just food for thought.
Okay, thank you. So you're going to take the audience on the journey. Kostas, over to you for a final round. So these are actually two different use cases in production that are being presented. So if I were coming to yours, what could I expect?
Yeah. You are going to see, first of all, our architecture. I mean, how from getting these logs, this will translate to having a monitoring the application and a machine learning application. I'm going to show the pipelines that we are using in this, let's say, application. And I'm going to show I'm going to explain the models that we are using, and I'm going to show some results and what an anomaly means in such a network.
Okay, so thank you to the both of you for being here today. I really look forward to seeing you then at the DataLift Summit, which is just 5-6 weeks away. We'll see you in Berlin. Anybody who wants to join us, you can get your ticket through the datalift.eu. Thank you. Thank you, Eleftheria. Thank you, Kostas.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.